Keanu Reeves was walking through the bustling terminal of Austin Airport, his thoughts occupied by the film set awaiting him at his destination. The noise of announcements, hurried footsteps, and idle chatter filled the air, blending into a chaotic symphony of travel. Amid this, his attention was suddenly drawn to a small figure standing still amidst the rush. A young girl clutching a worn teddy bear, her wide, frightened eyes darting around as if searching for something or someone. Something about her froze him in his tracks. She was so young, so small, and so visibly out of place in the flurry of the terminal. There were no frantic adults nearby, no parents scanning the crowd for her. Keanu's instincts flared, and without hesitation he approached her, kneeling down to meet her gaze. "Hey there, are you okay?" he asked softly. The girl hesitated, gripping her teddy bear even tighter before whispering. Her quiet, trembling voice struck a chord in him. Keanu looked around, scanning the faces of passers-by, but no one seemed to notice the little girl's distress. The rush of the airport continued, oblivious to the child's vulnerability. He couldn't walk away, not from this. "Don't worry," he said, offering her a warm smile. "We'll find her together." Taking her tiny hand in his, he began walking through the terminal, determined to help her. As they moved, Keanu kept glancing down at the girl, whose grip on his hand never loosened. Her fear was palpable, but she seemed to draw some comfort from his presence. Just as they were nearing a security station, a sharply dressed woman approached them. Her heels clicked against the floor with precision, and her eyes locked onto the child. "Is she all right?" the woman asked, her voice calm but oddly detached. Keanu explained the situation, but something about the woman's demeanor didn't sit right with him. Her claim to be the girl's guardian was swift and confident, but the child's reaction told a different story. The girl clutched Keanu's hand even tighter, her wide eyes now filled with something more than fear. There was distrust, even terror, in her gaze. "Are you sure you're her guardian?" Keanu asked, his voice steady but probing. "Yes, of course," the woman snapped, forcing a smile. "Now, if you'll excuse us, I'll take her from here." But her composure seemed too rehearsed, her insistence too forceful. Keanu's instincts told him not to let go. He had no proof, no concrete reason to doubt her, but the girl's body language and the woman's demeanor were enough. "Let's find security," he suggested. The woman's eyes narrowed, and her grip on the girl's arm tightened visibly. "That's not necessary," she said firmly, her smile strained. But before she could pull the child away, a security officer approached, drawn by the tension in the air. "Is everything all right here?" the officer asked. Keanu quickly explained the situation, his calm demeanor contrasting with the woman's growing agitation. She tried to brush off their concerns, insisting there was no issue, but her defensiveness only deepened the officer's suspicion. Meanwhile, the girl remained silent, her small body trembling as she clung to her teddy bear. The officer crouched to her level, his voice gentle. "What's your name, sweetheart?" he asked. The girl hesitated, then whispered, "Mia." "Where's your mom, Mia?" he continued. Her lip quivered as she replied, "I don't know. I lost her." The officer's expression hardened as he turned back to the woman. "We're going to need to sort this out." The woman's calm facade began to crack. "I told you, I'm her guardian," she protested. Keanu stayed close to Mia, his presence a quiet reassurance as the situation unfolded. Just then, backup arrived. More officers surrounded the woman, whose behavior grew increasingly erratic. Her story began to unravel under their questioning. She faltered when asked simple details about Mia, and her reluctance to provide identification only deepened their doubts. Finally, the truth emerged. She wasn't Mia's guardian. She wasn't even a relative. She was a stranger who had tried to take advantage of the girl's vulnerability. As the officers detained the woman, Keanu remained with Mia, kneeling beside her to offer comfort. "It's okay now," he said softly. "We'll find your mom." She nodded, her tears streaking her pale cheeks, but the tension in her small frame began to ease. Moments later, the sound of hurried footsteps echoed through the terminal. Keanu looked up to see a woman running toward them, her face a mix of panic and relief. "Mia!" she cried, her voice breaking with emotion. She dropped to her knees, pulling her daughter into a tight embrace. "Oh, baby, I was so scared. I thought I'd lost you forever." The flood of relief and love between them was palpable, and Keanu felt a deep sense of satisfaction. He had done what he came to do. He had made a difference. Mia's mother looked up at Keanu, her eyes brimming with gratitude. "Thank you. I don't know what I would have done if—" Her words trailed off, unable to express the enormity of her relief. Keanu offered a gentle smile. "I'm just glad she's safe," he replied. The officers led the woman away. Her head bowed as the reality of her actions caught up with her. The nightmare was over, and Mia was back where she belonged. As the girl clung to her mother, Keanu rose to his feet, ready to continue his journey. Before he turned to leave, Mia's mother reached out. "You're a hero," she said. Keanu shook his head. Humility etched across his face. "I'm no hero," he said. "I just did what anyone should do." As he finally boarded his flight, Keanu couldn't help but reflect on the events of the day. He thought about how close he had come to walking past Mia without noticing her. It would have been so easy to dismiss the moment, to focus on his own schedule and ignore the quiet cry for help, but he hadn't, and that small decision had made all the difference. Settling into his seat, Keanu gazed out the window, the city below shrinking as the plane ascended. He felt a sense of peace, a reminder that even in the busiest moments, taking the time to care for someone else could change everything. It wasn't about grand gestures or heroic acts. It was about noticing, about choosing kindness. And as he closed his eyes, he made a silent promise to himself, never to overlook the chance to make a difference, no matter how small the moment might seem.